Okay, all of you pumpkin spice latte, live, laugh, love, basic bitches, listen up. If Christmas trees are going to start showing up in the stores in the beginning of August, then you know what? July 5th starts spooky season and y'all can just deal with it. It's Halloween every day in my soul. Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, I don't know how you found me, but I hope you'll stick around. My name is Janessa, and I am North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And it is spooky season. It is October. It is Halloween time. And what better way to celebrate than talking about my top 10 spooky-themed Halloween makeup eyeshadow palettes, pigment palettes. I didn't check to see which are which. I slap anything on my face. I'm a trash queen, I'm a whore. I don't know which ones are like pigments. All of the pigments are approved in the EU. You do you. You know about your own skin. You need to read your own warning labels. I'm not telling you to do nothing. I'm telling you my top 10. So we're going to get into my top 10 Halloween spooky season eyeshadow palettes. And if you're excited for that, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. All right, yeah, so we are going to get into my top 10. Now, some of these are directly Halloween releases. Some of them are inspired by horror movies. Some of them are just maybe creepy, spooky themed. There's all different kinds of reasons. Now, all the disclaimers apply. If you like something that didn't end up on this list, let me know in the comments. I would love to talk about it. It may be in my collection, and maybe it just didn't end up in my top 10. If it is your top 10, then I'm so fucking happy for you, bitch. Like, great. We can all like what we like, right? We don't have to fight about it. We can all be kind. I don't know if all of these are available. Some I know are not available. A lot of them are still available. That's just kind of the nature of the business. And if we don't want to be wasteful and don't want to be just tossing things out because it's not the new, then sometimes we have to look at old product. And if that hurts your heart, I'm sorry. Go check out my playlist. There's lots of other videos that you can watch that probably also feature shit that's not available anymore. That's just the world. The world moves on all the time. So just know that going in. With no further disclaimers, let's go ahead and get into my top 10 with number 10. In the number 10 spot, this floored even me. As I was going through my collection, I couldn't believe that I even really kind of liked this enough to put it in the top 10. And it's two palettes. The Stranger Things palettes from MAC Cosmetics. I rag on MAC a lot for not being the brand that they used to be, and they're still not. But I have to say that I have been trying a few of their eyeshadow palettes. I tried one this summer at Pride. I tried these, and they're maybe making some improvements. They're maybe trying to claw their way back a little bit. And I just think that the packaging and the execution on the whole Stranger Things collection that they did was so cute. Now, of course, half the collection was the Hawkins Tigers, and it's all about the high school, and this looks like a little yearbook, and it's adorable. And, of course, it's all of those bright pastel poppy colors that people were putting on their eyes in the 80s. I mean, if they did an 80s eyeshadow palette and didn't have some sort of blue shadow, I was gonna riot. But this is really beautiful. These colors are really fun. I love this matte green. I love this pink. I love these together. I love this purple. Even this color is kind of fun. It's sort of a buttercream shimmer. I like it. This is a lot of fun. But we know that Hawkins isn't always so pretty and girly.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this!
Sometimes we end up in the upside down. Hawkins gets weird. We see some stranger things, and that's the other half of the collection. And this packaging is stunning with the embossing. I love it. And this little 8-pan palette is just an easy, perfect way to make a simple smoky eye with color. You can do a black with these dark neutral kind of smoky eye, or you can have a smoky eye that's got a little bit of red, or do a neutral smoky eye with red in the inner corner. How fun would that be? You can do a green smoky eye, a blue smoky eye. Just beautiful. I absolutely love it. And these powders are better than a lot of the MAC shadows that I've tried over the last few years. So maybe they're getting their mojo back. Maybe Stella got her groove back. We'll have to wait and see. But this is good enough to be number 10. In the number 9 spot...
Looking so crazy in love. Got me looking so crazy in love.
Copyright strike. Don't worry. I hate me too. We have the Glam Light and Chucky Crazy in Love palette. Now, this is really fun. I had to put this in number 9. This was going to be number 10, but I was like, you know what? It's got this lenticular, and the whole collection is really beautiful, and I do appreciate there was a problem with the blush that I've talked about ad nauseum in previous videos. If you want a little bit more information, you can go check out my Blush Journey Volume 4 right here. I'll link it above. But there was a problem with the blush, and they put it out, and they've got these beautiful lenticular covers. And I do like this, and I think the packaging elevates it a little bit above the Stranger Things. The only reason that this is so low, and would have been number 10, but ended up in number 9, is just because it's a little too much one thing. Which, when you're doing 15 pans, that's a problem for me. Now, this palette, if you love a smoky look... This palette, you're going to wear it down to the pan. Absolutely. There's black. There's these, like, dark burgundy, kind of, like, plummy purple, red shades. There's blackened red, all this kind of stuff. You can do so many variations on a smoky look with this that if that's your vibe, this palette is going to be your holy grail. But that's kind of all it does. There's the only really light shade. I mean, this one is like the lightest matte shade. And even that's kind of almost edging into a medium shade. And then there's a silver shimmer that even looks a little bit like a dirty silver. So it's not even like just a true like silver. So this one is going to be your smoky eye holy grail, but that's kind of all it does. So that's why it didn't end up higher on the list. Now, as of this filming, the Ghostface collection has not been revealed, and I am excited / terrified about what's going to happen. Because this is great, but it really is 15 pans that do one thing. You can do a lot of variations on that thing, but it does one thing. So that's why this is number 9, is because this is a smoky-eyed dream, but that's it. That's all it does. So I love Glam Light. I love their formula. I'm going to hold out hope that Scream collection, it's getting revealed on September 29th. By the time this comes out, it's probably already been revealed and out, but I'm really hoping that it's amazing, and I hope we get some more color. In the number 8 spot, we have Nomad Cosmetics Haunted Year Up. Another one with lenticular. This has been a thing recently, and I love it. I love that companies are doing this. I'll see in the footage if you're even getting any of this, but I love it. I think it's fun. And the reason why this is in number 8, it's not a little bit higher, I do love the Nomad Cosmetics formula. Definitely check out this video if you want to see my ranking of the Nomad Cosmetics palettes. I love this, but it is just a little bit more muted. So this one had to go above the Chucky palette because the Chucky was all smoky eyes. This you can go beyond a smoky eye, but it's still a little bit more muted, a little bit dusty, grungy, vintage, haunted location. It's got that kind of like an old portrait in a haunted mansion that's a little faded, a little spooky. So it's beautiful. It goes with the theme. But because it's not as bright, it doesn't have as much variation in sort of vividness. That's why it ended up a little bit lower. I do love this palette. It's not my favorite of the Nomads, and it's not my favorite of the Halloween, but it is a really great palette. I know it's no longer available. They did do a Ghost Town palette this year, which I haven't picked up yet, but I'm still kind of muddling it over. It looks to be very similar, but in a more neutral, with some interesting metallics. So, I don't know. Somebody that I watch, Dion Loves Makeup, has done some beautiful looks with it, but it's very much a, like, metallic shimmer with black. You can do that sort of elegant look. but it's a little bit trickier for some of the other colors. So I love it, and I love bright things from Nomad Cosmetics. Those are some of my favorites, but just because this is a little bit more muted, it's a little bit lower on the countdown. In the number 7 spot, once again, we have 2 palettes. These 2, there's been some beef throughout the years, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make people choose. I don't know if these are still available. I'll put on the screen. I forgot to go check the website if either of these are still available or both of them. But these are from Lunatic Cosmetics Labs, and it's the Elvira and the Vampira palettes. So I forget some of the story. It's been a little while, but I know that Vampira was doing some TV hosting, and then they were either looking to replace her or she was doing something else, and they were going to get somebody new. So Elvira came along, and they were going to just have her step into the Vampira persona, and that's why, you know, the outfits look very similar. They have a similar kind of vibe. And then Mila Nuri, I don't know if that's quite correct, but that's her real name. She like sued about the character, and there's a big dust up, and so she became Elvira, which is a legally distinct character that was inspired by Vampira. So there is some like past beef. There's documentaries that explain it much better than I did just now. That was pretty pathetic. But Lunatic Cosmetics Labs did 2 palettes for these 2 icons, and they're very different, but both very good. So this is the Vampira palette, and you can see this is darker, spookier, grungier, blues, grays. So if you want kind of a smoky, ethereal, spirity kind of look, and of course Vampira. Vampira was during black and white television, so of course this is perfect for her vibe. And then of course her name is Elvira, but you can call her Tonight. We love the queer representation. We love the bright colors. This has a face color as well as beautiful eyeshadows. It's got this bright 80s blue, this bright red, a matte black, a matte white. It's really just a gorgeous, fun basics palette that you can create these interesting monochromatic and lighten and darken as needed with these shades. So great. I love Lunatic Cosmetics Labs. I believe it was started by 2 women. I met one of them at the very first Days of the Dead that I ever went to. I believe her name was Catherine. We did a Facebook Live together. It was a lot of fun. So I love this palette. Lunatic Cosmetics Labs, check them out. They have a lot of great stuff even beyond these palettes. So definitely check them out and see what they're up to. In the number 6 spot, we are once again going to the Child's Play franchise, unofficially, for the Wanna Play palette by Wicked Sisters Cosmetics. So obviously this is not officially licensed. Glamlight went the route of getting the actual licensing, so we love that for them. But this is inspired by Chucky and the Good Guy dolls, and this is a totally different take on that whole franchise. Because Child's Play, I know it's dark, it's a horror movie, there's a lot of blood, but it's also about toys, right? Like, it starts in a toy store, and so this one, it gets a little bit more playful with the colors. And here are the shades in the Wanna Play palette from Wicked Sisters Cosmetics. So we've got some neons, this like neon pink, this neon green and yellow. We've got some vivids like this purple and a couple blues. This is just a really fun brights palette for you to play with. These, for being like neon shades, these are really nice. There's a lot of pigment in there. It's a nice kind of creamy formula, so it blends out. It doesn't get chalky like a lot of neons tend to do. So I really do like this palette, and this ended up in number 6. Rad Rom. Rad Rom. Wrong movie. All right, now we are into the top 5 favorite Halloween haunted spooky palettes. And the first one is a fairly recent addition to my collection. I bought it when they had a sale, not when it was anywhere near Halloween, but I still love it. And that is the Give Me Glow Haunted Pumpkin palette. This is a lot of fun, and what I love about Give Me Glow is that a lot of their palettes are customizable. You can move things around. Now, if you are intimidated by their large pans, and some boys do get intimidated by a large pan, don't worry, Give Me Glow recently announced on their Instagram that they are in the process of moving everything to 26mm round pans. I don't mind a big pan. I mean, I'm not going to work through it either way because I have so much makeup. I love to buy so much makeup. But for those of you who've been looking for smaller pans, congratulations, you're gonna get what you wanted. But I love that this palette is big ol' square pans, and this has been rearranged, so this is not the original arrangement. I like that a lot of their palettes are magnetic, and so I was able to put it together because I like to put all the greeny shades together in the more neutral, and then have all of these like pumpkin-y ones up here. So we've got kind of greens with this deep brown, we've got a couple neutrals in the middle, and some oranges. So that's what I wanted, and I could do that. I appreciate that Give Me Glow gives me the option. Now, I don't know if I love these oranges with these greens. I do love a green-orange look from time to time, especially when we've got like more tropical colors. I need to play with this and see if I can work these grungier green and oranges together. I think it could still be fun, but it's not my typical jam. But I don't have to do that because I've got these neutrals that allow me to do a lot of different green teal looks and a lot of orangey red looks, or just a neutral with those three. So I have lots of options. I love this palette. I love Give Me Glow's formula. I think it's really good. Even if you're getting less of it, I think it's still a great investment. In the number 4 spot, it's Freakin Bats. It's Freakin Bats. Yes, I had to give it to the Butte Bean, Batty Bean, whatever bibbity boppity bean she is now. I had to give it to her 2 collab palettes with Shroud Cosmetics. So I was in the original few runs, and so mine still says Butte Bean. Now she's Batty Bean. Who knows what she'll be tomorrow. But these are really great palettes. And I was trying to decide between the two, and I had to give it to both of them because I don't always like to make decisions. And I think that they're both great, but they're very different. So the It's Freakin Bats palette is my favorite color story of the two. In terms of just my personal preferences, this is the one. Because there's greens. We know I love greens, obviously. And these greens are some of the types of greens that I love the most. Like this kind of emeraldy leaning into teal green. These acidy greens, I love that. And then pairing it like with this cornflower blue and this purple with a little bit of like gold duochrome and these other, this is absolutely my favorite. I could have just given it to this alone. If I was just going by my preferences, it would absolutely be this one. But the Hollow Bean palette hits more of those stereotypical Halloween notes. And since we're talking about Halloween spooky season palettes, this one is so great. Now, it doesn't have a purple. You get the purples from the other one. But this one has some beautiful greens. This multichrome is stunning. And then it's got your oranges. It's got this like deep, almost black. It's got this white with a green shift. So it pairs nicely with the other one. But if we were just looking at the colors, this one says Halloween to me more. This one I look at and I'm like, yes, I can imagine Halloween and Beetlejuice kind of look or something, or a pumpkin lady kind of look with this. The other one, if you took that out and put it in a non-spooky packaging, I think it's just a beautiful color story, but I love them both so much. So they're tied. In my heart, I love them both, and they're both at number 4. In the number 3 spot, an indie brand that I discovered not too long ago and that I've really started to love, Creature Cosmetics Labs, and I love their Sleepaway Camp palette. I love this so much. This is so fun because Sleepaway Camp is my favorite horror movie. I absolutely love it. I've had a chance to meet Felissa Rose. I've met a couple of the other cast members, and I just am obsessed with this. I'm still thinking about this movie all these years later. It's going to have its 40th anniversary in November. We are certainly going to have more Sleepaway Camp content coming to this channel. I love this. Now, I do have to say this palette is a beautiful rainbow palette. It's a beautiful rainbow palette, and these shades are absolutely stunning. They're absolutely gorgeous. I know this one looks almost untouched, but I have played around with this a little bit, and I do absolutely love it. But there's nothing like signature Sleepaway Camp about this. So I was going to maybe knock it to a slightly different number on the list. But because of my love of Sleepaway Camp and because of another product from the brand, I decided it could stay at number 3. And that other product is from the Trick or Treat collection. And this is the Hack and Slash highlighter palette. And when you see this, oh, so good. These colors are beautiful. And these could absolutely be used as eyeshadows, but this, like this Nature Special, this beautiful green as a highlighter. I love weird highlighter colors. Sheer this out a little bit and use this as a highlighter. Ah, so good. You could use this on your lips. You should probably have a mirror to do this. Look at that on the lips to add a little bit of color. So for a highlighter, to add to your lips, to add to your eyes, I love it. So number 3, Creature Cosmetics Labs. And if you don't like Sleepaway Camp, if you don't like Trick or Treat, they have so many other fantastic spooky things, including lots of licensed collections for Night of the Living Dead. They have Evil Dead 2. I think it's Evil Dead 2. It's one of the Evil Deads. They have such fun, and they're getting a new Terrifier collection is coming soon. So many good spooky collections. So definitely check out Creature Cosmetics. In the number 2 spot, if you checked out my video on the best beauty of 2022, and if you haven't, guess what? I've brought it for you right here. I gave an award to this palette, and I love it. It is from Clarity Cosmetics, and it is the Apocalypse palette. I love this one not only because it gives you some beautiful multichromes, but because it takes the idea of a spooky, apocalyptic zombie infestation and turns it into a fun color story. Who doesn't love that? So this is the palette, and again, there are some beautiful, beautiful multi-chrome. I don't know if I can really catch the shifts for you. I don't know if you're gonna see all of that with this, but like this shade and this shade, this has some subtle shifts to it. This is pretty. This is really good. These 3 especially, beautiful, beautiful multichromes. And then we've got some fun mattes. We've got like a matte, like gray-green, a gray, a pumpkin orange, a bubblegum pink, and this brighter green, like a hospital green. I love this. This is such a beautiful palette. It's so good. It's got such beautiful multichromes. And I don't know if it's back yet. I know it's been out of stock and they've brought it back a couple times. I don't know if they'll bring it back for Halloween. If they do and you haven't picked it up, if you've wanted to play with some really beautiful multichromes, this is a chance to get several good multichromes as well as some really beautiful mattes. So definitely check out the Apocalypse palette from Clarity Cosmetics. In the number 1 spot, if I think about what is my favorite Halloween themed palette, my favorite, the best, the one I think is the most interesting, fits Halloween but is also the most useful year-round, it absolutely has to go to the Spooked palette from Gourmand Girls. I love this palette. Now, they did put out a Halloween palette this year called Haunted, and trust and believe it is on the way, but as of this filming, it hasn't arrived yet. And there was an earlier palette by Doodles by the Bunny that came out this year called Nightshade that I also picked up. Now, as a side note, this could absolutely be a Halloween release as well, and it happens to be what I'm wearing on my eyes today. Now, this Nightshade palette, I love it. And I have to say, when I first saw the Haunted palette, it was just the particular picture that I saw. I was like, did they just take the exact same shades that were in Nightshade and rearrange them? Now, I've seen pictures since then that show that there is much more of a distinction. It was just whatever happened with that first picture. It looked like it was mostly these shades, maybe a couple changes, but a lot, like the 2 pops of these kind of acidy green yellows. It looked like it was exactly the same and then just switched around. But I do have to say, when I get them in, I will compare them. But I've seen photos since that really show that there's more of a distinction. And it looks like it's going to pair really beautifully with this palette. And I'm excited because I love this palette. Obviously, this look is fire. I love it. I love this palette, but this wasn't officially a Halloween. It's my version of Halloween, but it's not necessarily what you think of with Halloween. But this palette, this really speaks to the idea of Halloween. And so, of course, you've got a pumpkin orange, you've got a blood red, you've got a purple, a black, a ghostly white. You've got all of those typical kind of Halloween colors. But you've also got these beautiful, interesting neutrals. And these neutrals have interesting twists to the color. You can do a look that looks like Halloween, Or you can do a look that just looks like beautiful date night. Or even maybe something springy with this white and this green and this kind of peachy pink that flashes a little green. You could do a spring floral look. You could do a fall with these reds and that orange. You could do, you could do a smoky eye with the black and the purple and this purple shimmer. So there really are options for this. I love it. I'm excited to see the Haunted palette. I'm excited to compare it to the Nightshade palette and see how they're different. But this had to be my number one. I love the Spooked palette from Gourmand Girls. Love it. So that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below, what are your favorite spooky palettes? If there are other brands putting out spooky things, if there's other like horror and spooky themed makeup brands that are indie that I haven't heard about, let me know. I am always looking for new recommendations, and it was through, I believe, a YouTube comment that I found Creature Cosmetics Labs. So let me know down in the comments below what your favorite spooky palettes are. While you're down there, don't forget to give me that thumbs up, or if you are like, I am so tired of all this Halloween content, get away from thee, Satan! Then give me that thumbs down, because you know what? It's all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I work really hard to make sure that I have at least one video a week, and sometimes, if you're very lucky, you might even have a bonus video. Ooh, spookterific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website,
The World of Champagne at JayeJaye.com.
Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you at Spooky Time and all year round. Spooky Time is all year round for me, but I am having so much fun with this Halloween content. I hope you enjoyed it. And until I see you again, bye.
That was dumb.
That was what?
That was dumb.
It was red dumb.
Stupid.
Stupid. And one of the shades just crumbled.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay, I'll clean it up in between. We'll finish this up. I'm a brave little toaster.